Welcome back to Big Gold Belt Media. I am Damien G, and I'm going to be covering Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the new series scheduled for release on February 2nd on Amazon Prime Video, starring these two people above me, one Donald Glover, one Maya Erskine. And I'm going to tell you, if you're expecting to see some Brangelina from back in the day, this is not the show for you. I'm going to just say it right there. This is not the show for you. I'm going to tell you off the top, this show was a slow burn. It took a long time to get from point A to point C because B took forever to get to the point of the show. And we know it's a spy show and things of that nature, and that's fine. But the way these characters were written, the way the story was paced, it took longer than I would have liked in some aspects. What I mean by that is to make these characters interesting. Because I can tell you right now, and we'll get to it more in depth later, the mains were my biggest problem of the show. They didn't have a lot of chemistry. So we're going to get to that. Other things I liked about the show is that it gives you a bird's eye view of what being a spy actually entails. And I'm talking about the day-to-day. Not, oh, I'm just a spy and I'm going to go do spy things. No, my friend. It shows you how you're a regular human trying to be a spy and juggling the responsibilities of what that means. And this is a non-spoiler review, so I'm not going to give away too much. But if it was me, I would not sign up to be a spy. I am not. It's like Men in Black. I'm not giving up certain things just to be a spy. Now, it's a lucrative job, don't get me wrong, but I'm not giving that up just to be a spy because I kind of like, having connections and bonds and things like that. This would not be for me. What I didn't really enjoy about this show, those two together, their chemistry is non-existent, in my opinion. I have a hard time believing that these two people, even though they're strangers, right? And eventually they have to build the bonds of trust and things like that to be a married couple. But even when we get past the slow burn of the first 4 episodes of building that repartee, didn't work for me. It didn't work at all. Wasn't a fan. I thought both of these characters were rather bland. I don't think there was anything to write home about either of the two. And I don't know if that's to be on the writing or if that's to be on the performances. And I'm not trying to throw shade at our mains, at Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. I'm not trying to throw shade. Just for me, it did nothing. They didn't connect, according to me. Just didn't feel, it felt more forced than it should have. So when I say they had zero chemistry, I really mean it. They had zero chemistry, according to me. Now, I could be wrong. Let me know down in the comments if I'm off base because you've probably seen the show by the time this releases. Didn't do anything for me. Slow burn didn't do anything for me. It took forever to get to the good stuff, which is the fighting, which is the spy stuff. And admittedly, we get into the spy stuff early in the series, but it's a slow getting to that point. If you're expecting John Wickian from start to finish, bang, bang, and John Woo, like balls to the wall action, this isn't it. This is paced out a little differently. It's like we have problem A as a spy, fix the problem, dealing with the relationships between the two leads. Then we get some more spy stuff. Then it's bogged down in some back exposition about the characters' backstories. And then we get to the good part of the fighting. And I will tell you, the fighting is the 1B part of this show that I really loved. When we get there, when we get to the gunplay, the hand-to-hand combat, the actual blood and guts fighting of being a spy, where there's explosions and gunfire and fights and knives and stabbing and blood, that gets a thumbs up for me. Great. It just took a while to get there. And that was one of the things that I just couldn't really wrap my mind around. Didn't do anything for me. Aside from that, I thought this was a pretty paint-by-numbers show. The writing, like I said, was a little uneven. Slow burn. Guest stars, great. Best part, look out for the John Turturro, and especially the Sarah Paulson episode, the episodes that she's in, as well as Ron Perlman. Their performances, along with John Turturro, those were 3 of the best performances of all season. And it actually has one of my most hated actresses as a reoccurring character in this show. I hate Parker Posey's character in the show. And that's the point. I feel like she's made a career out of making characters you can't stand. And for me, that goes all the way back to You've Got Mail. Okay. Couldn't stand her characters then, can't stand her characters now. So you know she's doing a good job if it makes me fucking hate her characters. But that's not a good thing if I'm over here jumping for joy about the co-stars and not the main stars. And that's what gives this show a B minus, slowly falling back to C plus the more I think about it as I review this. But I'm going to be steadfast and say B minus. That's where I stand on this. But let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Am I cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Please let me know. Like, subscribe, all that to Big Gold Belt Media, biggoldbelt.com. Watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith Just to Prove Me Wrong on February 2nd on Amazon Prime Video. And I'm going to catch you in the next one.
Hitched.